Speakers on.
And I'm hooked up, yes. Am I host? Yes, I am.
$20. Said that there was a new person that joined and sent $20.
You're in there. Okay. And
Greg is already in.
yes.
Oh. Wow. White noise.
That's,
Microphone?
and I think that's the fans on the projector.
Oh, it is the fan on the projector. You're right. Okay, so. I'm missing something here. I thought. Jeff sent a text saying that somebody registered and he had the $20. No, I can't find it.
Let's see. There you are.
Just want to see the place.
Any trouble getting in?
Yeah. I didn't read your email. I
You actually followed somebody else and
I didn't see that.
You followed
Not
a student in.
Street. I just saw the parking lot and I saw Game Street, so. Yeah, you expect me to open email and read? You think I'm a student?
they don't read them.
Fine, I won't give you the guest Wi-Fi.
Oh, well, in that case. Oh, heavens. George gave me some pretty nice stuff
George.
donated.
George,
Bailey, he used to be a member here.
yeah, I know.
What
What do you mean?
he kind of calculated, and I think retail value is about $2,000. So there's a couple cameras and a
Wasn't he in a
flip
movie?
mirror and
He donated that, you said?
yeah,
Oh,
so it's in my car.
um,
Some of it I think we could use for the club, some of them Mickey might be able to use.
I'm trying to recall, didn't you text me recently? Not more than 5 days ago. Somebody just joined and you deposited or you had $20 from somebody.
Okay, I can find that.
Because I'm looking through my text and I can't find it.
I was wondering if this is that newer guy. Oh, did I send it to you or did I send it to the board? Because you might have two different ones from me then. You know,
Texts. Oh, there's a text that you sent to the board. I think you usually text it all to the board all the time.
well, sometimes I don't always find the board because it never pops up when I do a search. So maybe I typed in your name and just found you, but I can find it if you're not.
Well, I just want to know if you,
It says I'm connected. Did it not change from last time?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, that's even better. wonder if it was that mirror guy.
No, I thought that you were a guy,
Okay.
they just send. An email requesting to join, right?
I don't know if that was the same guy or not.
But then it was what was it, Sandra and John Muir or something like that? It was like S and J Muir, I think that was their. Well. Okay, here's the new sign up. Sue went John, boy, I got the John right. It's Sue, it was not Sandra.
You found it?
No, that's the request to join, but I don't think. This is the one that, Robert forwarded. New sign up. But I think I don't think they sent anything, they just log on to the website.
Okay. In the mail, I received $20 donation from Diana Nevins and $40 membership from John Cecil.
I got those,
Okay, and
but I thought it was after that you sent something out about $20, but I can't remember. Somebody else joined.
I'll look on our time.
If that's all that you have, then I'm okay, because then I'm up to date. Because that's, I think. Well, you know, I can also check the bank account. If you deposited, I probably,
Yeah, it was one deposit of $60 down there.
that one I have. That's the 40 from the guy and 20 from the donation, right?
Yeah. 40. The 40 is for 3 members.
Right, I got it. I don't know the names of the members.
Yeah,
only the
John
numbers.
and that's the dad. I can't name the 2 kids. It's like Harris or something like that is one, and Austin or something the other.
Diana Evans, I have the donation, and John Chiachio, family membership. And that one is 40, but I don't know what the names are. And then, so that was yeah. That's the latest thing I have on mine. The latest transaction was the reimbursement to Jim Rudenbeck for the observatory relocation.
Yeah, I haven't sent anything to you since August. To you. I sent stuff to the board.
Go to the board.
Yeah, so, yeah, the last thing I did with you was about selling raffle tickets.
No, yeah, but the
Yeah.
last thing you said to the board about,
Was the 40 and 20 was the last thing I.
that was the last thing, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why, I thought I had another, something else. Right? Be wrong.
Terrible getting older. Isn't it?
It is terrible getting old. Well, so I'm.
More student the site.
So is this the right thing to do, park there and come in that door, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I locked out because I walked in with him.
Will we get busted if we park over here?
You'd have to check the sign to see when the parking is enforced.
Well,
I'm okay with parking here, but tonight, if I could park, if I was able to park close to the door, which we can't, I would carry in 2 boxes and stuff from George. One of them's a suitcase with you've got a focuser. You put on an SCT, a paper, you'll be one off. It's real nice. You know, there's a lot of stuff in there. The board will need to go over the stuff. There's a red dot finder I'm interested in buying. I've got one on my Dobsonian. But I thought, heck, instead of that fancy thing, Explore Scientific for my lunch, I would just put another red dot on my lunch. And then, because all I use it for is just alignment. I don't use it for finding objects. So it's not like I need a 50 power reticle right angle eyepieces for that. And then and he's got the base plate with it that I think will fit right on there with 2 holes. So. There you go. And I don't know whether you got my text messages, you must have got the one, but I've got a lot of pictures.
I didn't get that.
I got pictures of, the new pouring of the floor. But also, Paul, was gonna write something up and wanted kind of a little synopsis of our relocation. So I've got those to show, but I found some pictures of when, Wentz was being built, Jim Wentz. Like 5 pictures. So I thought that I would show the little history, just real short, there's probably 50 pictures from beginning to now. Are you, nobody's Zoom?
Could you send those to me sometime, please?
Hmm?
The Wench construction pictures?
Yeah, there's not very, you'll see what they are, you might not even want them. It's not actually showing any work. One of them is, one of them is when they've got the, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them with shovels getting ready in the ground. And one of them is looking at a blueprint on a car. And one of them is inside the dome holding what might have been an original control for the dome. Why am I'm muted here.
I'm not.
You think it's raining all the way through? I'm gonna turn off the speaker. Echo? Okay.
I can hear it. Must be going through your computer.
Yeah, it was coming from here, coming back around.
Okay, so I checked the bank, I checked my spreadsheet and we're reconciliated. Or is it reconciled?
And we've got, is that the microphone to go up there?
I have no idea.
Or is that the microphone? Hey Craig, can you hear us?
Well,
Is my microphone on?
it seems to be on, but you have
Yes.
to choose which one you're using.
Craig might not be
Let's
there.
see. Select a speaker,
Microphone.
microphone array, Realtek audio.
Same as system microphone. Real tech. So you only have the one. I don't even know if that one is connected.
I don't know either.
Camera is okay. So if you have any microphones connected to, oh, that microphone is through the box, right? Through that little box.
Yes.
Yeah. So. Well, test the speaker on the microphone. See what? Yes.
Testing, 1, 2.
That's working.
Okay.
I don't know which microphone, if it was the laptop or if it was the one that in there, but one of them is working.
And people have been able to hear us before. Maybe Craig's out of the room.
There's Byron. Here, 2 places to watch, Jim. Yeah. Split personality. What's happening? As little as possible. Yeah, I'll save for that. Yeah. Well, Saturday's looking better for them. Start partying out. Yeah.
It does.
Otherwise, it's improving. Yeah. Friday's not looking so good and Sunday's kind of empty now too. Saturday, so far Saturdays. Yeah, Friday's shot. The way the weather guys work, if it's bad Friday and Sunday and good Saturday, now it's actually going to be good Sunday and bad Friday and Saturday. Because few people are gonna be there Sunday night. Yeah. I'll be there Sunday. I haven't got everybody added on the spreadsheet yet.
Depends on the weather.
but depends on whether-
Sunday night turns out to be pretty good up. Stays on Sunday, Monday. Going out tomorrow night. Yeah, trying to. Be lucky to get out there. And start.
I'm gonna want to change the password to the building January 1. So we'll talk about that at the board meeting, and then we'll blast it out to the membership. Because there's some people that get renew, and I just soon make sure that we keep a close handle on the password.
Password for,
Renew October 1st, right?
Yeah, we start renewals in October, but it's for the next year, so on January 1, that's kind of the official.
Okay.
You know, you didn't renew your membership, so, so I'm not sending you the new password. So.
I struggle with fee collection dates.
Yeah.
Because we got people joining. And you send me a text and says somebody paid for a membership, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, so they paid for a membership.
For what year?
What, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
So
he just paid this month, and it's like,
What do
well,
you do? So we should talk on the board to see if somebody does that, should we just go ahead and make them a current member and give them the next year? If they join late,
Where are the new members at? I haven't seen anything.
a lot, some of them come on
Well, I
by,
guess I have on the screen.
but sometimes they just come out to the site. They'll meet with me out there, or I'll go over to their house. And work on, like that one lady, she never did write back to me, the one that lives in that north that doesn't know how to put the mirrors in or whatever it is. So, sometimes they join, there's John.
yeah, I don't know what that was about.
He and his two sons just joined, and they came out to Menke twice. They haven't been on this at all. I think they might homeschool, so they've got weird hours.
So he just goes out to the telescope and messes around.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, they just bought like a 6SC thing, but they were ESO. And I had to go up to the airport, which is a big mistake. They live like in Orion or something, Coal Valley or something like that.
Well, I saw our little star off on the astro, what's it called?
Atmosphere.
Atmosphere, yeah. You seen that?
It's not a bad app, but what I like about it is I got our club signed up for it. So I don't know, unless some clubs that don't have websites kind of use that to communicate with their members, I don't know. But I thought that I would just put our astronomer events on there. And then, like EISP blast out weather information on that.
There's our star on the map. You already have that too, okay. Let's take that star and they'll ask you. Weather forecast. That's what.
That's your screen, isn't it?
Yes.
Can you open up Notepad easily and in big font, right? Craig, can you hear us? Just leave it set up. I
got that wrong.
because you might not be, at his desk or at his computer. That's probably good enough. If I see that, that looks good.
Where's Brian? So hell, they were showing cloudy tonight.
I might have to share my screen for you to see.
And it's not cloudy out.
No,
Saturday's always.
oh, let me.
Yes.
Yeah. Saturday's.
I think that you're on, yeah,
Now it's.
you're not automatically shared. I thought you were.
We have to do it. Yeah, the best way to do it, please, that is
Actually.
text.
I tried that one. A lot of people don't look at the, I can send them a text. I was gonna send them an email message to you.
Well, you can send them my, that's simple, they get the little thing at the bottom of the screen, but they don't look at it, they don't even know how to look.
Yeah,
And then midnight.
Is it showing on your screen?
it was.
Well,
On now. Yes, there now.
Oh, we might be screwed Saturday.
Well, like I said, everything changes. You really don't know until Friday.
Yeah. Now when yours comes up. Yeah, I got. Home or current location. Yeah, well, yeah, I'll get current. Yeah, there we go. I had Dick's line when they were saved. It's saved location, too, yeah. Can't leave this over here. Yep.
He would have answered by now.
I showed her. She laughed. Saturday up until 7 o'clock. Nope. Maybe a washout. So what is the cloud date? Reschedule.
Yeah, he says he can hear and see great. Thanks, Greg.
Rain date, start over again. Start over again, right? It's like a portal too.
So this astroperic thing, when you send messages,
Yeah,
does everybody see them or only,
I
or?
think anybody that joins, so for instance, when I get,
Because I replied to you, you know my message.
yeah, I thought, and I don't know whether it goes just to everybody or to the administrator or what. But I'm making all the board members.
Well, mine says private message to what city astronomical society, happy,
Okay,
so that would be you.
yeah, but like I said, I made,
Hi, Paul.
hi, Paul.
No. Number of new system, new lines that. Yeah. Now, the other day, Saturday, I had something about 4. Smaller, and I 13 by 31 inch point that was in my basement. Military. Okay.
Oh,
40% off, 4 windows on the.
These chairs, terrible.
Base
I don't understand why they have wheels and they don't roll.
That was this one.
We owned our house. And about 2 years after we bought the house. We had all the old wooden windows with the weights and everything. And they were, some of them were starting to fall apart. We ended up replacing all the windows in the house. That was good. Hour. Now they're getting to the point where they were the double beams that charged. Yeah, they were argon charged. Some of them were not fogging on. They're over 30 years old. So. It's only windows we haven't done. It's basement, the no original steel frames. Yeah. I think it was ours. If I can't find something to do, number 2, I'm gonna wait till spring, order the windows myself, mark them out, put it down on my own, you know.
Ken didn't join PAC back again either.
Who didn't?
Ken Mofus, he didn't join the QCAS PAC this year. So Rusty, you're probably, other than Ellen, probably the lead PAC member in QCAS. You might mention something. Oh, Ellen's here. Hey, Ellen, can you hear?
Yep,
Yeah, hey, I noticed because Ken Boquist is gonna go to Eastern Iowa Star Party. And I don't think that he's in PAC or QCS this year. And, I just think that maybe both clubs ought to keep him posted about different events and things that he might be interested in. We both kind of know what kind of stuff he does, because, it'd be good to keep him active. I'm wondering if he's not joining because he never can hear.
what was your question, Jeff?
Yeah, that PAC and QCS should keep Ken Boquist in the loop about different events we do that he might be interested in.
Oh, yeah,
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 'cause
I
I'm
agree.
not in either club anymore.
Look, it's Rolando.
Uh-oh, President.
Using that term loosely. A gentleman thing.
Okay, man.
You know, still.
The front door is not working, right? So the,
The front door's not working either.
it didn't work for him. That's why I went to that.
You came through and I. That's right, you gotta sneak
I sent security an email reminder this morning.
And there's nobody, there's no security out front there, at their desk, so it doesn't matter.
Who's doing security, some college kid? They're actually security.
There are actually security personnel somewhere.
Theoretically. Yes.
Who apparently never listened to me.
I bought. No, I bought. Right.
Nothing.
It's broad. Yeah,
Talk about getting old. Yes, the longer I stay here, the older I get.
What's that? By the minute. You know where you get it.
The longer I stay here.
Yeah, that's what I got. Can't stop all the time. I do want my kids to be. Yeah. I don't.
Rolando,
He's one of those guys.
your question is not unanswered. We wrote, the day you did that, we've got like 5 paragraphs and stuff. So,
I know back in 2019, you guys made the decision, Byron was the equipment, head of the equipment team and everything.
but then he rescinded.
I was said,
He left the group.
no money, no point.
but anyway,
We have money now.
so anyway,
We've gotten money since then.
we were fine tuning it down, but a lot of it has to do with 2 main things. One was originally, the thought was the club should be able to supply its members with gear that it can't get on its own. And back in those days, since PAC had a huge presence as far as what do you want to call it, public outreach, that it was a little bit fruitless for us to try to do the same thing that they were doing. So we started maybe concentrating more on the site, which led a little bit to more like getting more top end gear out there for people that don't have the capability to buy. Then the next thing is when we put together all the grants and everything, it included a list of gear and what we were doing there. So kind of going back on there is kind of telling the grantors what we changed their mind on everything. But anyway, there's something a little more formal that will be going to you.
Do the planters know exactly what?
We wrote out here specifically, yeah. And the amount, dollar amount that we.
You know, I can't recall what the letter that went out to the grant was, but I don't remember if I remember it was specified we were gonna have to build. I remember it put the we were asking, but I don't remember if we listed specifically.
It was
That's
specific.
itself.
We specifically put 10 mics on mount or equivalent. We wrote exactly 7-inch.
Because when we did the analysis,
Yeah.
when we put the group together,
But it said or equivalent.
we had,
What kind of money we're gonna have after the building's done?
So we're gonna keep fundraising.
Okay.
What do you mean by 40?
Keep looking for grants.
Well, we don't say that we're gonna buy a $500 telescope and buy a $10,000. And like, we don't say we're gonna buy a $20,000 mount, $20,000 scope, then get a $7,000 scope and a $3,000.
The scope by itself is retained 22,000. So you would buy a brand new plane wave with a mount for 25,500.
Could be, but it wouldn't be equivalent to this.
Plane wave? You can actually put another refractor on the side of it also if you want to.
Right.
So you got.
But you can do that with
You
any of them.
got visual, you got a mount with it. So here you're just saying a telescope. That's for that amount, not a mount.
Right, right.
Okay.
Right.
I would be willing, if you want to go plain way, I would be willing to give $5,000. Cool. For that. But it sounds like your mind's made up.
Well,
and you're gonna go with this.
it is, but those scopes that you mentioned in there weren't playing with, the scopes that you mentioned were I think the Explore Scientific triplet, and I think.
Right, because the intention at the time, what he mentioned at the time was, we could put more telescopes. And have more people use telescopes than one telescope and a big line of people waiting to use it, right?
And that's the goal, is to get stuff out there that, you know, to draw people in. And
What's the agreement with, St. Ambrose? I mean, if the club goes belly up or something, St. Ambrose gets all the equipment.
no, they have the buildings, the public, the gear have to be liquidated. And chances are we would donate it someplace instead, because it's not like any person is gonna get any money out of the gear. It's not like, you know, we sell all the gear for $50,000 and we have 10 club members who are gonna divide it up. That's not gonna happen.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. You know, chances are, it would be donated to St. Ambrose and maybe some type of agreement with current members. If there's only 3 members left, they can go in and use
I
it.
just, well, I don't know why St. Ambrose doesn't want to donate. Because it is in their interest that we finish the thing, because when we're all dead and buried, they get to keep everything.
Well, it's more than just that, though. You know, colleges get membership and get kudos from places like counties and cities and other organizations when they can supply amenities to the public.
Right.
And ending up having a major, you know, observatory with computer control, remote control gear that is essentially world class. I mean, that is a huge amenity to be able to put in there. I don't know what maybe it can do to an astrophysics department. You know, going from, you know, yeah, we got a telescope out there to now we've got, you know, a 30-inch Newtonian, a 20-inch Newtonian, a 12-inch Newtonian all set up, a 14-inch SCP set up, a 7-inch triplet, or as Rolando mentioned, if the plane, I've never seen a plane with that inexpensive. So the ones that are super amateur, or the ones that are QCA, Twin City amateur, they're about $100,000 each. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I haven't priced plane waves since I belonged to QCAA.
But, you know, it all depends on what you want to do. If plane wave is good,
I
you
guess-
can do image.
I guess the thing, the concept is having a club that can supply its members with gear that there's no way they could afford on their own unless they were like wealthy. Something out of the ordinary, and something that we could, you know, work with other observatories around the country, around the world. So it wasn't that it had to be an 8P, that's why I said or similar. Didn't have to be a 10 micron, it says 10 micron. Or
You know, it's
similar.
been so long since we sent this stuff out, I can't remember. Oh, it's 7 o'clock.
It's after 7 o'clock. Let's start the meeting before.
Yeah.
Sleep. All right, okay. So,
If that one's for 23. That's fine.
okay, this meeting has come to what passes for order in this club.
Did you visual with them?
You know what I mean.
There's one for 14 something. Yeah, we'll get up for
All
14.
right, any questions before we get started? That's what I asked my class.
Send a link. Well, that's on the site.
Okay.
No, it's all current. Yeah, I think.
Well, all right, well, first of all, what can I say? We had 4 public events scheduled since our last meeting, August 20th, August 27th, September 3rd, September 17th. All but one was canceled on account of weather, and even the August 27th one was totally cloudy, so just 5 of us were there just talking to each other. We seem to be having a long string of the rain saving itself for the weekends.
Pretty much.
The water is full.
Yeah. You go by the farmer's almanac,
The weather.
and stay like it is now.
Well, here are the rest of our events until the end of October. Yeah. Eastern Iowa Star Parties, of course, is coming weekend. If the weather holds out, who's planning to go?
Well, I've got 27 people registered,
27?
and some of them have got a couple people in their group, but it's more like wives, it's not like a secondary astronomer. It's funny, most of them in the past were wanting electricity. It's less than 50% want electricity this time around. So that's a lot more visual people than AP people, or more people running battery gear. So anyway, that's good news. We didn't line the field, so what I'll do for people helping direct people where to go, we'll just kind of have the people that need electricity, we'll keep them to the south where the pads are, and to the west where we can run our big power box out. So that'll be more the power, people that need power, and then we'll keep the lower south and the east for people that are just doing visual. Like Steve Singson always sets down where the new dome is at. So I don't think that'd be critical. What the problem was in the past, and this is more with older EAA, is that when it was a newer part of the hobby, a lot of people had open screen computers and were dealing with the white light very well. So I tried to keep them all kind of together so it didn't interfere with the astrophotography stuff. Well, now everybody's got pens or boxes or red screen, so it's really not an issue like it was. So we'll probably reevaluate them separating people out for anything in the future. So
What about the cement floor for the new buildings? Are we gonna keep people away from that or fight with the?
hopefully we're gonna set Cecil W on it.
The door's too small.
It won't.
It doesn't have it doesn't have a structure yet.
The doorway. It's a hole.
Yes.
That hole, I think.
No, and that's fine. What we plan on doing on, I think that the dom is gonna go on the east end. So in the siding, or not in the siding, but when we frame up the building, we're going to have 3 studs pulled. And then we can take off that, we're gonna run it right in and we'll come back. And to get it out, it'll cost you.
Well, the thing of it is if there's no doorway, who wants to live in it?
Oh, it'll be in before, the walls and the roof are gonna be up before we put it in.
Okay.
So the building's gonna be built, it's not gonna be sided yet. So before the siding, we're gonna pull off the black sheeting or whatever, the foam, whatever they do, and there'll be studs exposed. We're gonna pull out 3 studs, that will be 48-inch opening, and put it in, put the 3 studs back, put the sheeting back. Right, there's not gonna be a door to get it in or out.
Pick it up.
Or yank off the siding, if we can't get somebody. They originally were wanting to pick it up and put it in after the building was built. And I thought that was kind of silly. If all the construction work was done and the dust was out, we could yank that, put it in, cover it with the canvas. Sign the thing be done. Now, if it's not too late, Mike Dannenfeld wants to redo the lumber package to, make a dual door over there. I don't think it was a very secure. I hate the one.
Everything is order already.
What's that?
Everything is order already.
I know. Yeah, we'll be fine. Taking it out is not gonna be fun. But think of it this way, it's very secure, no one's gonna steal it.
We got sledgehammer, we can always take the mirror out and little.
Yeah, maybe the guy that side can, seam it properly so we can, because they laugh, what, 2 foot, maybe they can do it, so we can pull off the center and put the siding, take the black sheeting off, pull off the center, pull it out. Put the siding back up, I don't know.
Anything else on the EISP? Going once, going twice sold. Okay. We have a public night for October 1st. And then, I can't remember, October 15th, is PAC having a public night, or is that your annual banquet? That's your banquet?
No.
No? Oh,
Yeah, it's been 20 something.
Hey, Al, what night's the banquet? Earth Al. He's muted.
Al, still there?
There it is.
Yep, I'm here.
What night's the banquet? Our banquet. The back
Is
banquet.
that the 22nd?
It's the 22nd.
Yeah, so that the 15th or the what?
The 15th,
That must be Niagara night.
That's Niamey.
Okay,
all right. That's what I had on my calendar. Okay, so.
So what's our club gonna do for banquet? That been decided yet?
Our banquet, that's in November. Yeah. And, yeah, we've been passing around a few ideas about where to, there was. Kind of talking about going back to the Royal Dynasty, because most people seem to like that.
Yeah, we didn't have many people last year. So around. What, 3?
wasn't bad. It wasn't very private.
We had a good turnout for that, but yeah, people didn't like it as much as.
We couldn't hear and we couldn't be together.
And then we got. Right, yeah, so. October 29th, that's when we're. Together scheduled to visit the is it Witte or Witte? Witte Observatory and down in Burlington with a rain date of November 5th. Should we have some kind of a sign up for that, so we have a specific idea of how many are gonna go?
I would think.
So before we get much further, but is it October 1st? Where we were discussing that we potentially could be at Wilton? For their grand opening?
Yes, I remember, yes.
Yeah, Wilton's that ended up turning into, they just want the October 1st one for the benefactors. So they don't need club members for that. It's just going to be show the gear on that. When they have a public grand opening, they want as many people as they can get there.
Okay,
And that just came up like 3 days after they said something about let's do it October 1st. I freaked out, but I don't know if I can get anybody. So
Oh,
okay. Hold on.
all right, so then our October 1st public night, be at Menke as usual. Bring umbrellas.
unless you guys want it out there anyway, you can do that too.
Reindeer.
I'm an astrophysicist, I work with engineers, it must be between us, we can design some kind of a rocket that can blast holes in the cloud layers. So we can see through them.
I think we should move our club to California and charge them for it.
And then we wouldn't be able to see through the smoke.
Yeah, but they need rain, so
You
we
know
can
what?
charge them for that.
With Rolando's, thoughts on getting a different telescope in there. Let's just not buy a telescope and rent time someplace where the weather's good and put a big screen in there and we'll just rent time during our public nights. Do that. And we could have it rain, shine, 2 foot of snow or whatever.
Tomorrow night still on, where we could all join.
Can you imagine how many hours you could buy on a little? It's like $100 an hour. So I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just thinking about renting our time or our activities to California so that they get some rain out. All right.
Yeah, what about tomorrow night?
Then the email about tomorrow night.
We can put that one on there too, that We're calling it the Byron Open.
That's all right.
Oh, the chip. QCAS and You guys normally show up around like that. Set up.
I like to be there at least 45 minutes before sunset. Just looking around, so it's nothing big. Yes, it looks good. It is. All yours. That's what we want. I'd say it might be the best of the week. We'll have to wait and see, but right now, it's what's holding.
There you go.
Yeah, I call it Byron Open also.
Byron.
Alright. Who's our contact with the Observatory?
Jim's been setting it all up,
So the Jim?
so I would go through Jim.
Jim, any,
Is Jim on there?
he's logged on. Yes, Jim, is there anything?
Yeah. Yeah, I've asked Alan Scheidler if he would kind of take over that communication and coordination, so maybe Alan can answer your questions.
Just want to know if there's anything new or updated about our field trip to the Witte Observatory.
Well, I don't know of anything new. Alan communicated and I passed on that they said that those dates were available, so we're on the schedule for the October date for our primary date, and then the rain date of November 5th. I see your photo, Alan. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope, I think we're on tap for those dates. And I think at this point, we should plan to do it. I don't have any new information at this point, so we
You
should
wanna try
go.
Do you wanna try to carpool? 'Cause I suppose I could empty all the gear out of my van and get 3, 4, 5, 7 passengers with me. It would. I'm gonna take it over to your place. No, I can't do that. I'll never get it back. I could take it over to Menke and company.
Yeah, carpooling
Hey, don't
Carpooling
mind,
would be
I have
good.
room in my garage now.
Yeah, I could leave it at your place and pick you up and have everybody meet someplace. You know, sure, man. Does anybody else have a minivan to take or a regular van?
Travis has one.
He's got kind of SUV kind of thing.
Yeah,
I can ask him if he's going, maybe.
he,
Well, it would be good to have a sign up.
he's not online.
No, he didn't know if he could make it tonight.
That way you figure out travel. We can 10 people on your 5.
We need to bring it forward in our conversation so we can coordinate.
Also a good idea to know what time they have, you know, what times they're supposed to be
Yes,
here.
yes.
Probably take 2 hours. Everybody got a boss.
Chase carpooling might be even more important, this thing. That long of a
Well,
drive, that,
it just takes a lot of gas money.
I'm also like that long a drive going home that late.
Anyway,
We might not all be awake.
we're gonna be so excited from looking at people walking around on Saturn through that big telescope that we know where we can sleep.
See the people walking at the surface of Saturn.
We're gonna be
You
looking-
need, you need a lot more sleep than you
We're gonna be
say.
looking at the flag planted on the moon.
You need to.
Yeah. Too less beer, too much sauce.
And on that note, Anybody bought any new gear lately?
I got some gear to talk about. So, and people online too, George Bailey was a club member. He sent an email to me the other day and said he is not getting out of astronomy, but he's getting rid of stuff that he doesn't use, and it also includes 2 cameras, astro cameras that he hasn't even used other than to turn on to see if they work. One I know is a ASI 174, and I forgot whether it's a color or mono, but I think I just bought a color 174 and I paid, I think, $500 for it. So he donated that. There's another camera that he's got on a new Orion clip here. He's got a celestial albino viewer. He's got a 1.5 inch or TeleView 3X Barlows, the power mates, and a couple eyepieces. He gave me a whole box of stuff that went over it. He's got a Williams optic Crawford focuser, Crayford Crawford focuser that you put on the back of an FCT, and it's a 2-stage, so that gets rid of the mirror flop. So he gave me a lot of stuff then. I said, well, what do you want me to do with it? He said, sell it, raffle it, auction it, whatever you want to do with it. Put it toward the observatory. I said, cool. So I think what I'll try to do is put a list of what's there, and we'll blast it out to QCAS and PAC and see if anybody wants stuff, and if they do, they can make an offer. The board might decide that a few of the things might be interesting to keep. For instance, that Crawford focuser, if that fits on the SCT, that might be a good thing to keep here. I don't know that it will or not. We'll have to find out. But
Like a feather touch or
Yeah,
dual
yeah.
speed.
yeah, it's not a replacement. It screws on the back like mine that I like, like a regular focuser. So what you do is you put the draw tube halfway, and then you focus with the OEM focuser, and then you lock the mirrors down. So now you just use the Crayford. So
You-
at least
you
that's all
show.
will be fine. So, but anyway, so he gave us a bunch of stuff. He made the comment that I think retail, he thought it was about $2,000 for the stuff. That's pretty cool. So anyway, I'll make a full list of everything. It's in my car now. If anybody wanted to take a peek, I didn't want to carry it all the way to the parking lot. But we'll make a list, blast it out to people, see if there's any offers to be made, see what the club wants to keep inside the club. And the rest, if nobody's interested, we can always put it on cloudy nights or have I don't know whether there's going to be enough people any one night at EISP. Door prize. Yeah, a door prize or raffle or a rummage sale there. Or we could save them for next EISP and use them for raffles. Or we always talk about having a rummage sale, so to speak, at an EISP. Maybe there's enough stuff in the club that we want to do that. So, but anyway, we got all that kind of cool stuff that's going to be available.
Now, at the very least, you could bring it to this EISP just so we can take a look at it.
Yeah,
Start inventory.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, you can always put it on a table and have people take a look at it, and if they want to make an offer right there and then.
What do they call it? Silent auction.
Yeah, what we can do, yeah, exactly. What we can do is I can get the list together and the next club meeting, we can bring it and do that. That way, people that are online, if they're interested, they can come in for the club meeting and buy or do the silent auction thing. So if we get it out, and then the next club meeting, just bring it in and have people do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Well, if somebody wants to buy it at the EISP, and then whoever is online is not,
Yeah, exactly.
don't get a chance.
Yeah, and I would rather just wait until club members and PAC gets to it first.
Yeah, let's.
I mean, George is a club member. I like to get stuff.
I'm just thinking that you're not gonna get the same number of people on a club meeting, like you're gonna, your best chance to get a lot of people together is the EISP, and that's it.
Yeah, it could be. I'll know better we'll know better when we see the weather. If we get rained out, we know exactly where there's gonna be more people.
We just gotta keep Byron out of there, and the rain will go away.
You know what? We could send Byron elsewhere. He can take the rain. How do you feel like the club paying your way to California?
You go to bootlegger,
Yeah, if we get
you go to bootlegger stuff one.
if we get the few tomorrow, and still get the weekend, you're gonna be eating those for,
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 93 tomorrow. Yeah, think how humid it's gonna be at night.
But at night, so.
Channel 8 says so. And then dropping to the 70s on Wednesday, so there must be some kind of a front going.
Still only call the TV, I haven't called. If tomorrow night, I may end up going over to Menke, we're dropping off the building.
And I need to remember to talk to physical planner housekeeping about the
The 8 o'clock, what's the-
modifications necessary to set it up.
So. It would be like low 80s.
That Steve Van Hefty or Steve Singson.
Steve, is that Steve Van Hefty or Steve Singson?
Evil Steve.
Okay,
Can't even figure out how to use this.
well, any Steve that stays out late enough to do astronomy is probably more likely to be an evil than a.
Evil, yeah.
Only if you think werewolves. What were we talking about? In this one? New gear, so,
Oh, new gear?
yes.
I bought some cheapy Orion 15x70 binoculars.
What makes them cheapy?
I think, well, I mean, most binoculars, the better binoculars up around $400 or $500 or better. I think these were on sale for like 190 or something like that.
Like, when you turn the little knob, is there like pretty prism kind of patterns that show?
Well, there's no knob to turn. I mean, it's individual eyepiece focus. Oh, you're talking about like a spectroscope or something, a kaleidoscope.
Kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Anyone looking to sell some gear?
Well, I do have the Solar Quest. And just to try it out, I tried it out with, my 90mm, what I originally had. And with the 90mm, it's about 7 pounds. Oh, it's just with that 100mm f9, it's either too long or too heavy. It won't work. So if somebody has a smaller 60mm or whatever. Work great. For the find the sun. The color.
What else?
I was unable to hear Cecil's comments. Could somebody repeat the highlights of them?
Can you hear me now?
Barely. I don't know, where you're sitting relative to the pickup mic is probably an issue.
I'll come over here.
Oh, that's much better.
Okay, well, I bought Solar Quest last year, and I used it with the 90mm apochromatic, not an achromatic. And I thought the image was pretty good, but the image isn't that good. So I decided to try to find something bigger, like 100mm apo. And with the 90mm, the Solar Quest works great. It finds the sun and it'll follow it all day until the battery runs out. But with the 100mm f9, it's either too long or too heavy. It says it has a maximum weight of 11 pounds. And I think I'm sitting with my 100 millimeter at about 10 pounds. So it's either too heavy or too long to operate properly. So if somebody has a smaller, lighter weight solar scope, it's great. It'll find the sun, use the GPS built in, and then it'll follow it all day. So that's what I got.
I wonder. Let's see. Can everyone hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
How do I sound now?
very good. I think the problem is just that Cecil and maybe at times other members in the audience are far enough away from that microphone, they just don't pick up too good.
I'll bring a microphone from now on too, and you'll have one inside the room then.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if the microphone is here or if it's here. 'Cause-
Well, click it. Click on it.
Or tap on it.
Yeah, tap on it. Or sing something.
Can everyone hear that tapping?
Nope.
I guess it's not this.
That must be coming in your,
It's hooked up to the computer, not to the HDMI. I wonder what it's for. All right. So tonight's presentation is potluck.
I got some pictures of the observatory.
Perfect. I think it should be set to share.
Okay. There. That. There's that. Was that 2 weeks ago Saturday we went out? Or was that last Saturday? Last Saturday,
Went out to,
Menke to pour this.
yes.
Okay. So let me see, that's the wrong folder.
Almost 80.
Well, I was there last week in the report.
So here we go, there's some pouring.
Yep.
The floor. That's the first load of concrete to go there.
Oh, it's a.
Why is that? I've got it minimized, why is,
Yeah, wait a
is
minute.
that yours? Oh, there you go. That's the first pure pad, the basket that Rusty built. Did you build that, or Mike Danico, you built this one together, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think Mike put that one together. There it is, sunk all the way down. Woohoo. Pouring the other one. So both those, they go down to frost, they're like 42 inches anyway. And that's sonotube to isolate them from the floor. So it's not readily apparent from the pictures, but they are isolated. That one is where Cecil's gonna sit on top of that for now. And my thought is to block his scope up a couple inches. So it would be sitting on the pad. So we'll have to discuss it more. It might not be that important, since we're not gonna image with it anyway.
How wide is it?
24 inches, I believe.
Okay, because the simplest thing to do is. Hold on. And drop it down.
Yeah, but it's 24 inches big enough for your box to be supported. I mean, that's flush with the concrete.
Yeah.
So we gotta get something just on that pure pad, raise it up a little bit so that your scope actually isn't touching the floor. It's actually touching the house. So that'd be a cool thing to do.
Because it's like. 36 inches wide or something. You could always leave, since it's sitting on, it, you could have, put it on there and then actually beat the wheels down, have it still supported. Enough so it didn't roll away, just enough to hold, you could do that, right?
This is the second load of concrete.
That's right, there's two loads out there. And the second load was an hour late. It would have been out of there real early if they got there when they were supposed to get there. And that's pretty cool. Back in the olden days, we used to have to snap a line and put a level on a line and have it suspended. They're actually using a laser to level everything. That's pretty cool. A little bit better. This guy here is shooting the laser, it's hitting the little pole and it beeps when it's level. So that was really pretty cool. I've never seen that.
Always say the laser. Answer looking for
That. And that's the last code pole to be built. He's got out of sequence somehow.
So how's that coming along? The dome.
I'm not really sure.
We tried we went and tried to switch Friday night when we were cleaning. The lights came on.
I wonder if it's turned off the breaker box inside.
I don't know.
Does it have to, it's hooked up to the roll-off roof building? Like
Yes, yeah.
It's not hooked up to one of the switches. So that's
I
right.
don't think so. I don't, you'd have to ask,
Okay, I'm just curious.
Jim and John Baker.
Yeah, Rusty does a great drone shot either. So anyway, this is the facility. It's pretty cool. I'm thinking about donating my 6-foot dome, and we have to talk about where we'd end up putting that. If it gets out there, and I don't know how good it would be to be in this area here.
And it kind of slopes down.
It does,
Slopes down quite a bit on that.
or who knows, maybe over in this end too.
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty real low?
I don't remember.
And then we've got that tree line. So I know there's a big hill over in here that goes down. I think all this ground is pretty low. Steve Sinkin used to like to set up here. Steve, you used to set up down there in the area too.
Well, usually recently. Say recently.
Yeah.
It's just closer to my trailer. Yeah. But you know, it doesn't matter. That.
I forget, what is this?
That's that electrical line. It's a transformer box.
Use that.
So anyway, so that was kind of that job messed up with a few other things. Then I've got kind of this little history thing I kind of put together just like 5 minutes before coming over here, because I found these pictures accidentally. This is breaking ground at Jen Wentz back in 1992, October 27th. 1992.
No, that's breaking ground at Menke.
Or Menke, yeah, I'm sorry, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the dome
Yes.
over at Menke. That looks like is that the roll off over at Menke?
Yes, yes.
Steel frame up there.
There's one.
That looks like an old control for the dome. Look how shiny the dome was back then. Then I threw in a picture of our young web. So anyway, that's the dome over there. You've all been out there. And that is an old Google map before anything was done out there with our new stuff. So that's the old one. And this is kind of the proposal when I first recommended that we move over there, that we put our dome here, our roll-off building here with the control room. And all these would be double concrete pads with electrical. So we still are looking at doing the pads and this structure right here for a control room.
Yeah, only now talking about maybe putting the control room underneath where the roof rolls off, because, well, they ended up, I'm gonna split that such that the roof is not gonna roll all over bundle of grass and.
So we wanted to use up space that wasn't good for anything else. This space back here is really wasted. Unless we want to put picnic tables back there and just kind of have a little meeting place or something. I don't know, but I'd rather put a control room there. So after the building is built, we'll roll walk the roof and we'll see if there's enough headroom to put a building in there. So, and then, of course, we'd need to put a doorway here.
Does the Wi-Fi reach that far out, or is there gonna be?
Yeah, that's,
That's a good question.
yeah, it's,
We might have to run something.
I know the 5 gig Wi-Fi does not. And the 2 gig is kind of iffy at that distance. So yeah, we might have to put in some kind of boosters or something.
Yeah, we'll talk to Jason about that because he designed that booster thing or whatever it is, an antenna network.
Brightness,
So,
wire, or.
yeah.
You can always, when they run the wiring from the main building to that.
If you hardwire it,
Put a Cat 5 cable out or a Cat 6. Better
there you
wire.
go. Yeah. Because we will have to get electricity out.
That way you can just put a router out there and you'd be hardwired right to the
Yeah, that'd be the
main
best.
side of it.
Could we do the same for the new dome?
We could do something.
Well,
Run stuff.
yeah, but you've already that's already buried all the other wires.
But still, that would be, if we're out there digging one, we could dig the other. But the new dome is less needed than the big building for having,
Yeah.
you know. For my little dome, my thought on the little dome was not to put a telescope in there, put a pier. And you can bring your own gear, or maybe not even a pier.
It's a slab.
Yeah,
But
just bring a slab, bring your tripod, if you want to go out there for a weekend, you can set up in the dome, lock the door when you go home, I lock it, go use it again, so. That's kind of the thought, anyway. There's taking the old dome out of Jen Glenn's. There's their new slab over at Menke for it. And moving it down the road, all in one piece. So see, that kind of rig could probably pick up your. Yeah, and I'm really not sure where that vehicle came from, if that was from the county or from the park or what, you know.
I wasn't involved.
So that's the company that moved to my understanding, right? They did the concrete work, they came out, did
I think so,
move the dome, and that's their piece of equipment.
yeah,
I don't think that would
Whatever.
cheap to bring him back
They-
out.
No, probably not,
forget the name of that company.
but there's the road. And that's the telescope that went in there. So in that.
So that telescope, got moved to the dome, you said?
The 12-inch one,
Yeah.
yes.
And that mounted a whole bit, so that's in there right now. Ooh. There we go. The wrong direction.
So what happened now, when it was over at the other place, it had 16 inch in there.
And that's old.
It's so,
Yeah. And that I think Matt bought, right? I think Matt bought that one. The other scope that was in here, Jim bought. And that's kind of a view of what the new Menke looked like for the semi-new. And this is reciting the classroom. Pretty cool. Yes. And that's what's in the dome there, classroom. And I didn't have one of the actual computer that stays in that room now. Classroom, the other side getting sighted. Roll off getting sighted. The siding for this came from Menards. That's where we're getting our building package. So we'll be able to match the siding up exactly. So that'll be very cool to have that whole facility all look the same. So
Yes.
and that's what we've got inside the roll off now, make you roll off. And they did a real good job with putting that in there, Rusty and Mike and Jim, and I think Steve was involved. I don't remember John Baker, a lot of them getting it set up, aligned and tracking and pretty steady and all that, so. Pretty good job. And digging the foundation for the new building. So what if I can make that bigger? All this stuff is in the way, so I'm not gonna mess with it. And there's the footings that are poured. And then you set the walls on top of the footing. There's the pouring them. There's the walls up all the way around. There's the doorway that Cecil was talking about, that is too small. I'm assuming that's set up for a 3-foot door, a 3-0 door. So that's okay. And I think we've seen these, most of these before this floor.
Yes.
That, exactly. So in that building, when that's up, here's Cecil's stove that's going in there. That'll be on the east end, and that's without the top, which here's the top part for it. I couldn't find a picture of it all put together. I think after put together, we're too busy playing with it to worry about.
Yeah, and I have,
So, you know, it's this
I
tall.
got one at home.
So that's a big scope to go in there. And then this is what I'm gonna put in there temporarily. I thought I'd go ahead and put my 10 micron mount and my 6-inch up 9 astrophysics starfighter. So that we have something in there. And again, that's the facility as it sets without the structure being up. And Mike, Dan, and Phil, do you have your microphone on?
Mike?
That's okay. The lumber package for this building is ordered. And it could be delivered before Eastern Iowa Star Party. And I don't know how long it'll take us to build it, but chances are it's not gonna be built before EISP. The lumber package might be on the ground, and they should be setting it here, I believe, so it'll be out of our way.
Yeah, but the beams that are coming from Plano, I don't think they're gonna,
They're not gonna be ready.
and you need the beams before you can put the whole thing up. I think, I thought.
We can build the walls. But
Yeah.
anyway, the lumber is ordered and it's supposed to be delivered as soon as it's ready. And as soon as we get the package, the materials
I
out
thought
there.
I thought that Mike's schedule with Menard so that everything will be delivered at the same
Yeah, I
time.
don't know. That's why I was asking for him. to explain it.
Because he didn't want the material sitting out there waiting for the beam.
Yeah, I just thought that the trusses were coming out separately from elsewhere. But yeah, but anyway, materials coming out soon. And we got a contractor to build it. So that's before.
I'll speak on behalf of Mike. The trusses are scheduled to be delivered on the 26th of this month. That was longer than what Menards originally told us, so we thought there was a chance that they might produce them sooner, but you know, considering the date and we haven't heard an update, we're still working off of that date. So as soon as Mike gets confirmation that, you know, of the date that they're going to ship or update it, he'll go ahead and tell Menards and deliver the rest of the package, because the contractor would like to get everything there at once because he can build it fairly fast. So he doesn't want to be slowed down building the wall and then waiting a day for the beams and the rafters. So that's kind of where we are with that.
Cool. The original, and this was kind of my playing around with how to lay out something for Eastern Iowa Star Party. And those I estimated about 12 by what I think is almost like 12 by 36 or 12 by 40 spots, and where we had placed people. I'm hoping that we do some kind of grid at some point, because I'd like to still figure out a way to get 50 people in here. And I think it can be done. It's just that without being out here, it's hard to decide what we can do with this area. And the goal is to make sure that we can drive all the way around the facility, so that people can come in, drive to their spot, and if they want to leave, they continue out this way. So come in from the west, go to your spot. Or So at any rate, that's kind of what that is. Anybody want to see or talk about the observatory? We're going with pictures.
So what are the three scopes going in the observatory, the big building?
In the big building, there's two scopes going in there. One was Cecil's, the 30-inch F5, roughly
4.3.
30-inch F.3 Newtonian Dobson mount. And then the other one temporarily is going to be my 6-inch astrophysics on a 10-inch mount or a 10 micron mount. The deal with that is I really don't want anybody to use it unless I train them on it, and then I don't mind.
So it's just two pier locations, not three then?
Correct. Originally, we were going to have 3 pier locations and room for 4 other scopes to be set up in there. And we sized it down. It was going to be 3 down the center, and then in between the center line of scopes and the outside wall, there was going to be, I don't know whether it was just going to be floor space or actually forward pier type of thing where you could set up a tripod. Because we didn't get that far, so.
So how many piers are there? How many piers did they pour? 2?
2.
Oh, I thought we were gonna pour 3.
Originally, we were. And I think part of what swayed it was Cecil's offer on his Dob to go in there with a 30-inch scope. That was quite a big scope to have in a building.
So, well, I
Because we weren't gonna
couldn't
do
tell,
20
I couldn't tell from the pictures, but are they at the extreme?
They're spaced right. It's a 5th of scopes.
So Cecil's scope would be in the center?
No, Cecil's scope's gonna be on the east end.
I'm just thinking, well,
That's where they are.
Yeah, Cecil scope will just sit over the top of one of the piers. It really won't use that pier. It will only be if it's someday in the future, we decide to put a different telescope in there that would be on an equatorial mount that would require a pier. Then we can drill the holes, put in the mounting bolts, and that may never happen. We, may be so impressed with a 30-inch telescope that stays in there for our lives.
We could also put 2 regular scopes in there and have Cecil scope roll where we want to go in there. Sure, roll. So I've got some pictures here that members sent. And Craig, can you see and talk? Anyway, I got them in alphabetical order, I think, by first name. So these are some pics that Craig sent to me. And I didn't write down what they were because I was hoping that people would go for it. But these, I believe, are all taken up like out of his backyard. So he's kind of over a lake area. That was gorgeous, actually.
That Andromeda?
Yeah.
I think that's the witches, wizards, or the wizard, yeah.
Lobster, isn't it?
What's that?
That's the lobster, I think.
I think he said, I think you're right, yeah.
A lobster claw.
The wizard again. Is that some kind of a ghost, something? But he did a number of pictures, so that was the first one he sent, then he said that he was working on processing it better. And I think he sent me this H alpha one. I think this was his finished product. Then this one was different filters on an Andromeda. Howard has been doing some really great solar work. This is one of Howard Cox's, that's a, for you, those that don't know, that's Craig's brother. That's one of his, yes,
What solar was that?
that's an HA scope, and I think that it's just done, in black and white. I think he was tweaking on it, but look at that. That one is incredible, I think. Oh, then, last Friday, my daughter was in Portland, that's my granddaughter. Last time she was here, she was like baby, and she was being held up to the 14-inch scope. And that was when David Levy and them were in town. So he signed the picture for him with them on there. So David Levy and Jennifer signed it and signed the picture. So anyway, so she's working with me on that. She actually ended up running the telescope. So she was able to see the little things on Stellarium, and I'd have her click on it to control when it's moving the scope over, so she had a kick out of it. But we saw the normal stuff. Saturn, blows them away every time. Jupiter does too. But the interesting thing on this, I did not do any star alignment, and we were able to find the Ring Nebula and a number of clusters that Hercules clusters without doing an alignment. They were not exactly in the field of view, but they were only like a little bit off. I could bump around and they'd end up in the field of view with no alignment whatsoever. So I'm just wondering if people are in a hurry to do something out there and you've got guests waiting and you don't have time to do a star alignment, run it without it and bump around. You can find stuff. I think the reason it's hard is if we start doing like a 1 star, I think it erases the whole thing and you're starting from scratch.
So when you turn it off, did you park it or did you just?
Yeah, no, you park it.
So if you park it, I don't think you really need to do an alignment that critical the next time.
Probably, but like I said, it was not in the field of view. But I wish I could tell you how many degrees. I'm not good at that. But I had to move it like the little bullseye on Stellarium about 1/8 of an inch away from the object that was there. So I just, on most of the stuff like the Hercules cluster, I could look through the microscope and see it in the microscope, which nudged you into place. Planets were real close. Jupiter almost was in the field of view. So at any rate, I think the second you start doing an alignment, it erases everything. But if you've got people waiting and it's cloudy out, and you don't know whether you're gonna get a good alignment anyway, and you're just trying to fight stuff, we should try without. I've never done that before. It was very marginal weather out that night, so yeah.
That sun picture, did he give you any kind of, when you use like a telescope or?
Yeah, you've got a 50mm one.
What camera did you use?
He didn't say what camera, and I don't know which one he uses, but he does have some kind of an astro camera now. But yeah, it's real nice, get up better. Yeah,
I've been trying to take pictures with my Nikon.
I know they have to, you basically have to do video and stack it. And to get the good stuff, you do wavelengths on there. And then I did take them over to Wilton and they play around with that scope a little bit. And this is rusty stuff.
Oh, yeah, and I don't remember what any of them were.
I think that is that the iris?
That's the iris.
Where'd you take
What?
that?
Some were out at Menke and some were at Ballcast.
I think I put PAC on the ones that were out at the castle.
Yeah. That one, if you could blow it and make it bigger, that's not very big. That thing is just a little tiny.
Planetary nebula.
Yeah.
I don't see a size thing on this.
It's got some nice colors, though, but it's just.
That magnifying glass up there.
All right, I guess, sorry.
Yeah, up, there you go.
The next one.
Yep. Wanna go with one, it says plus.
A little that one, yeah.
It's a little grainy when you make it bigger.
That part of the veil.
Yeah,
Two different pictures.
which is brutal.
There's the other hand.
Can't never tell which one is the eastern and which one is the western.
I think people remember.
North American.
I think that was M11. Cool. I love the busters. I think, too. Python and Iris look so close. This one, I think it was a Sagittarius Star Drop. Thank you. That's M73. Got the three little triangle. in the middle. Guys right here? Yeah. Actually, 4-star. Cool. Nobody knows what that is. No. Give you 4 guesses in the first 5 no. That might be all.
It's a strain to remember it.
Yeah. But you also caught that nebula up here on the lower right. That's another NGC member all by itself. This guy here? Go up higher. This one? Yeah. I think that's got its own designation on the new general catalog. What do we do? Pretty cool. Stars are all pretty far.
Good traffic.
Okay, that's all I got for pictures. I don't know if I've got anything else. EISP, I guess that's all I got. I'm sure. Oh, that solar that was with your stove. You did that. Yeah. That's the only picture I ever really took of the sun. That's just with the little ASI 120 monochrome camera. It's like 500 frames, no processing, just wavelength. Anybody want to talk about anything else? So we run short of people giving presentations. I got really close. I just ran out of time. Is anybody interested in learning about the different kinds of glass and qualities of glass that they use in telescopes? From the Pyrex stuff all the way up to the EV glass and the FCD and all the garbage and what the difference and what they mean. Because I found some sites that talked about it. And it was got pretty technical, but I thought I could, kind of go through it. And I was hoping maybe there were some new members showing up so that you can understand that, a telescope isn't necessarily just a telescope, that there's a lot. It's not just these glass you're looking through, that there's some different qualities you can kind of look at. But are you guys interested in that for a topic?
Oh, wonderful.
They may be plexiglass. But does anybody, online, does anybody, if you heard me, are you interested in that kind of thing?
I did some research on that a long time ago when I was buying telescopes. all the
If
time.
not, I'll read it, and I don't want to put together a presentation and waste my time if somebody's really interested. But we're not getting anybody to do presentation, and nobody's saying that this is what they'd like to hear about, so.
You can always find something interesting out of it. I mean, I know the stuff that I researched about, the only thing that I do was, there are 2 major manufacturers, right? Hoya and Potpourri. And and they have the different categories depending on how they cook the glass, I guess. And, no, I'm,
See, I was looking at, okay, what's the EV and the 53, was it FPL 53, FPL 51, and FCD 100?
yeah. I look at that too, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, because that throws a lot of people off when you go to buy a used telescope, especially now because they really don't tell you what glass they're using. They're saying, oh, it's a triplet. Well, you know, the FCD 100 is not the same as 51. I think 51 is better than 53, and 100 is under that.
The FPL 53 is the best.
There's a
51 is the next one down,
And 100 is close to or the same really as the ED.
but that's an FCD
Exactly.
as opposed to an FPL.
Yeah.
But that's just the material is used, like the fluorocarbon and the, I forget what the other one is. And,
Pyrex. They do Pyrex glass in some of them, so. But anyway.
Yeah.
That might be something.
So are mirrors the same way? Are they different materials too? Are they just polished?
I think it's the type of coatings. I think they have aluminum coatings, they've got silver coatings, they've got something optic.
there are two different kinds of glass that they use. Like the BAK 4 and the
Yeah, that's
BK
right.
something,
Yeah.
BK 7, I think it's the other. There's two different kinds of glass, different coatings. And a different coating, right? Some of them use
There are
different
closed
coatings.
beers, and then there's what's the other zero expansion. The Pyrex, I guess, has a reputation of expanding. But there is a zero expansion glass. Some use quartz. I think, Westar used to use quartz. I don't know if it's still doing that. And again, I
What's it called, what's the Duro something?
there's some stuff out there. And I'll tell the story. I've told the story before, but I'm going to, back in the 80s, on a trip to Celestron to see their manufacturing. And we had to walk through this garage to get to their manufacturing. And there were some sheets of glass with circular holes in it that they used for the corrector plates. And I looked at it, and I asked the guy who was doing the tour, who was the vice president, I said, that looks like window glass. And he said, it is. When Celestron first started, they used shot glass from Germany. But there were so many imperfections in shot glass, they were able to go down to the hardware store, buy regular window glass, which had no perfections. And that's what they made the corrector plates on. So it wasn't some high-tech super, it was window glass. That's, I don't know what they do now, but that's what they did back in the mid-80s. So you don't know what you're getting. And I've run into that doing research on refractors. It's like, no, they don't tell you what glass they use in their triplets. Or their.
Oh, they used to, not anymore.
Not anymore, they don't, because they can use Coke bottle glass, and they're not gonna tell you. It's awful. If you do enough research on some of the really expensive scopes, you can find out what they use. But if some of the less expensive ones, you got no idea what glass they use.
Like Sam was saying, most of what I see is for you. A lot of the normal kind of quality telescopes that are like normal quality.
Yeah.
Something that people like us in this room can generally afford.
That was in Germany. Were they secret about their glass?
Yeah, they used to buy shot glass from Germany. But they had too many striations in the glass, so they went down to the hardware store and bought window glass, window panes.
Because I remember hearing that 1800s Bavaria turned optical glass making into a fine art, and they were really jealous about guarding the secret of its chemical composition.
Sure.
So Jim, can you hear okay?
I don't think so.
Jim?
Jim?
Yes,
Hey, do you remember the, not the Christensen glass for the astrophysics, but there was a little period of time when, what's his nut came up with some glass from, extra leftover glass from NASA? Do you remember anything about that? What that was?
well, yeah, I remember reading about that. I think that Thomas Bach had written some about it, that there were some 6-inch refractors, maybe the longer focal lengths. And I don't think it was all of those telescopes made with this, but the so-called NASA glass. So I think people have, I don't know that Roland has ever commented or clarified that. But I think that people have speculated that, you know, in his quest for quality glass over the years, there was a period of time when he found some that was, you know, available, probably excess from NASA. So he bought it and used it. And some people see it as being unique, but whether it's any better than the other glass, I don't know. I don't know that Thomas Bach ever made that claim, but equal at least. But that goes back quite a while ago. That's probably back in the 1980s, maybe 90s.
Yeah, my scope is in, late 89, early 90s. And when I took it up here, he thought maybe that it could have that NASA glass in it. But if it doesn't have a NASA, it's got whatever the Christensen glass was. So,
Well, when Dobson started building his telescopes, they were built at 13-inch.
It was porthole glass, right?
Porthole glass, yeah. That's what they were built on. And it's really kind of interesting if you see, I saw one of his videos of him grinding a mirror, and here he is grinding this mirror, and he's gonna change something, so he takes the mirror blanket, just throws it on the ground. You know, it's not like,
setting it down.
no, he just throws it on. It reminds me of, the only thing I remember from Captain Kangaroo is that he's nailing something. And he takes the hammer, and he takes the hammer, he throws it in the toolbox. He realizes that's not a good thing to teach kids. So he picks the hammer up and then places it in the toolbox. It's just so fun. Here he's got this mirror that he's trying, he just throws it on the ground, no big deal. And portholes, porthole glass is nothing. I mean, that's a glass, it didn't matter, it doesn't matter. And I think some of it, it could be some, you know, just some hot sale, you know, saying, well, you gotta use this kind of glass or it's no good.
Well, of course, there's different requirements for a refractor where the light passes through the glass
Yeah,
for a reflector where it just bounces off the surface.
yeah,
I think the advantage in plate glass, or I mean, the disadvantage in plate glass is, you know, its expansion of coefficient is maybe about 3 times as large as Pyrex. So the cool down time is longer. And, you know, then there's some more exotic glasses that are even faster than that. But, you know, you can get plate glass cheaper. There's a guy in the club in the St. Petersburg area that makes glass out of tabletops. He finds, you know, I think minimum 1/2-inch thick tabletops, cuts out a piece, uses them together to get the satisfactorily thick piece of glass to use to make a telescope. And for people's first telescopes, you know, he considers them perfectly fine. Their telescope mirrors out of plate glass, primarily based on the price.
True.
Made our own solicitation. Anything else? Shall we move on to the treasurer's report?
Oh, wow. What's the money?
What?
Treasurer's report.
I heard somebody say something.
Show us the
No,
money.
you didn't.
Yeah, show us the money. 20 bags.
That's where somebody said, hello, everybody.
Oh, there's somebody. I hear voices.
What? Stop it. Stop it.
Leave Sam alone, will you?
Casper.
Okay, so. General fund. Right now it stands at 28,2093. Event funds haven't changed since the last time, 327.30. And then. What should we do with that event fund? I mean, it almost seems like we have it in there, but we hardly ever use it for anything.
We usually say we're gonna use it for EISP. I've gotta buy, pop and water and munchies yet.
Right, I mean, it's just reserved
Yeah.
for events, but
What, $300 or something?
327.
Yeah.
30.
That's all. I'm
Well, I was just thinking, I mean, should we continue to keep it separate, or should we just pull money out of the general fund when we need it? I mean,
It was more important when we paid utilities.
it was more important when we were trying to recruit speakers for the.
Yeah.
Right now. we don't.
But
Okay. And then observatory relocation, after all expenses from the previous days, we're down to 30,488.47. For a grand total of 33,636.7.
What's the building gonna cost? Sure.
What is it gonna cost?
Yeah.
I mean, what we have left to do on the roll-off building, yeah. Was the lumber package like 11,000? Jim, do you remember what, I mean,
The lumber package, it was 74, 79, I thought it was.
7,400?
Lot better than 30,000.
So right now, observatories, money spent on observatory relocation,
I think we see like 50,000 now.
if you wanna know.
yeah, Sam, hello, can Sam finish?
Yes.
Right now, what we spent on observatory relocation so far, is, 24, 89, $24,089.31. That's what.
I got a little bit of an update on expenses if you want to bring them up to date.
Okay,
We, like Sam says, the materials at Menards the other day was, what was it, 7,400?
74.79.
Yeah, okay, so we got that, and that's already been subtracted, and your current balance is with that out of there, right?
Right,
Okay, so I found 2 roofing bids, and I found a guy that will probably do it for right around $2,000. He'll do everything. I had another bid at $3,600. So, and this guy, we're gonna give a membership to. He's a former science physics teacher at Central High School here in Davenport. I kind of know him. He's done work for me, nice guy. Probably only take him a day to do it. I'm gonna have him lined up as soon as that thing gets under roof. I want it covered up so that the rain don't water soak the lumber any more than we have to. So that's taken care of. So you might as well figure he said $2,000, give or take probably 100 or 200 either way, but that's what we're figuring there. Okay, so today I spent about another $230 or $240, and I've got some miscellaneous expenses. I bought the additional steel rail today for the roll-off and the tabs, and I forget, I got a tab running, but it's probably, I don't think it's any more than $300 or maybe even a little less. And that includes the steel from today. The only thing I don't have, and I do think that I have a siding color lined up at Menards that matches the other two buildings, and that will so they'll all match, but I have got to find a siding contractor, and I just haven't had the time to research the siding guy. I've got some names, but I need to get some prices too. So you know, they got another and also the framing guy, he claims his bill will be somewhere around 10,000, could be a little more, could be a slight less, depending on what extra things he might run into. This is an unusual build for him, as it would be for any contractor. So I think he's treating us right. So if we got the roof and him, there's another 12,000 or so off the total relocation balance that we currently have. And then we got a siding, and I don't know how much the siding job will cost. I'm not in tune with that yet. So you take 12 away from 33,000. We're down to what, 21 or so? And that's not including the siding.
What did you say the roofer was gonna be?
Right around 2,000
Was that with the shingles?
shingles. Yeah. He's given us a heck of a deal. So I said, we're going to give you a membership since you're also a former physics, astronomy science teacher at Central High School. And he was elated with that idea.
And we don't know about siding yet at all. Price of the siding.
Yeah, that's the question yet, is the siding. And I'm sure there's probably going to be a few other miscellaneous things that are going to show up, like when they're all done with the building, we're going to have to get 1 or 2 garage door openers to put at each end with some cabling. You know, there could be some extra bracing. I mean, it's not expensive stuff, but it still could, you know, add another couple thousand easily to, you know, miscellaneous stuff that's going to show up.
And Jim, you got about $1,000 we owe you, right?
No,
No, Mike has already sent me a check for that. Thank you, Mike. It did arrive.
You mean Sam?
yeah, that would be me.
I'm
Fine.
sorry. Yeah, Sam.
I'm
Thank
just
you,
trying to
Sam.
figure- I'm
for
just trying to
sending
figure
me
out
the
where we're
check.
at compared to what, now I can't think, the guy that we were gonna hire to do the whole thing for us, that we could never get a hold of.
Scott Horst.
He was gonna do it for 30, right?
No, about 23.
What's that?
Are you talking about the concrete?
No,
Or,
no, the guy that does roll off buildings, that set
Sam.
up the plan, and he was gonna build it for us, but then we could never get a hold of him again.
Scott Horstman.
Scott Hortzman.
yeah, Scott Horstman, probably as much as 3 years ago. So before some of the inflation in building materials and COVID experience, I think gave us a rough estimate of if we put the concrete down, then it would probably cost approximately 30,000 to build the building.
Yeah. So we're at 20, not counting siding, but he also was including the electronics to control the building too.
Yeah, you're gonna have to figure that, John Baker, or whoever we get to run underground cable to the building and wire it inside too. So see, there's another expense. But I still think we still are gonna end up with you know, I would hope we'd end up with maybe 10 or 15,000 left in the treasury after we're all said and done. That's just a rough estimate in my head.
So we're right around 21 grand for that building over there after the concrete work. Not counting siding. And miscellaneous.
All right. Motion to approve the treasurer's report. Any seconds? All's in favor? Aye. All right. Observatory, well,
I changed it. Cleanup work. Other business.
cleanup work. So Travis and I went out there Friday night, and it turned out only one other volunteer from MidAmerican came, by the way, named Manuel. So one of the main things we did was to go into that storeroom and see what could be taken out of that. We found a place to put the SCT box. So we basically just moved the cooler out from under one of those tables and managed to fit the box under that. And then we went through the cabinet in there and found a bunch of stuff we could move out onto the shelves in the classroom and into that smaller cabinet in the dome, which we're eventually going to have to replace because the lock doesn't work and the mice are getting into it. So I need to contact St. Ambrose, see if they could fit us up with either a new cabinet the same size or two smaller cabinets that could go on either side of the stairs. But yeah, most of the stuff we put into that cabinet was telescope equipment, some lenses, flashlights, and other scope paraphernalia we found in that storeroom cabinet. And a bunch of books, we put those in the shelves. There's still some stuff in the storeroom cabinet that either we couldn't identify or couldn't really come up with a better place for it. So the next time some of us are out there, we should go into that cabinet again and take another look. We also cleaned out most of that little collection of metal drawers that were on the shelf in there. The mice had gotten into most of it, so we started a trash pile. What we did was, remember that large cardboard back poster showing light pollution that the mice ate a lot of? So, well, as it turns out, as I tried to fold that 2 ways, it's stiff enough that we could use that to stand up a garbage bag next to the drinking fountain. And so that became our impromptu garbage can. So we started throwing some stuff in there. And we got a few other items next to it. Some of them can be recycled. I know at least that empty water jug can do that. And incidentally, I got an email from Dave Mercy the other day saying that if we ever need to do that again, there are trash bins, not bins, like dumpsters out near the main camp area, which if we'd known at the time wouldn't have made any difference because it was already dark by then. And then anything recycling would either take back to St. Ambrose or take to recycling centers ourselves.
Do we have a lot of cleanup work to do before EISP out there?
There's still some to do, yes.
I mean, in the way of stuff or stuff that we can.
Actually, we managed to clear quite a bit of stuff out of that storeroom.
But I mean, now is all that stuff in the classroom the way?
No,
Okay.
no. Most of it we found room on the shelves. The filing cabinet, the old Wayne Gentle filing cabinet had been sitting in my garage for the past couple of years. It's now out there in the classroom. in that corner where those two smaller stoves used to stand, we just moved those over to the other smaller stoves by the other corner. We did have to move the table that was there. We moved that over next to one of the windows. It shouldn't be too much in the way. Other than that, still remaining in that store, like the shop vacs and some of the vacuum cleaners are still in there. And there's still a bunch of stuff on the shelf. What we were frankly afraid to look inside the cupboards underneath the sinks for fear of what might still be living in there. Or who, yes. We'll save that for the next time somebody's brave enough to go out there. But if I remember correctly, there's like a whole bunch of like kitchen bathroom supplies in there, like toilet paper and stuff, assuming the mice haven't gotten to that yet. So yeah, if anything in there is still salvageable, we might be able to use that for future events. I think we're thinking that once that big cabinet in there is empty, we'll get rid of it. So, because we're talking about turning that space into a kitchenette. So the more stuff we can move out of it, the better. We found what looks like a large camera that kind of takes photographic plates in that storeroom. That'd be something interesting to keep at the very least, like as a display item.
Yeah, it's kind of sad we sold that Schmidt camera. I think we got about $175 for it or something, which was a good price, but.
So yeah, so if people are going out there tomorrow night, then that trash pile should still be there. So, and if you find anything else you think can be just thrown out, then by all means add it, chuck it in. That's my take on the observatory. Which I don't know. Can we still call it observatory relocation anymore? Because we're finished. Moving all our stuff to it.
The whole project included the control room and scopes and electronics, computers, cameras were in there. I don't remember what all we had in there. I'd still like to call it that until the project's actually done.
So the relocation part of it is,
Well, no,
I think that's what we're talking about.
relocation project included all the gear. And it included the control room,
But we're not relocating the control room, we're making a new one.
but that was the project, part of the project.
Okay, it's semantics.
How about
Just a minute.
I think.
potato, potato.
But that's okay.
Potato. Let's move. Is there anything else, other updates on the observatory project? Jim, Mike, whoever knows, what's the update on running electricity to the new dome? Because when we were out there, we tried turning on the lights and they didn't work. There was no lights inside. Has the electricity not been turned on in the new dome yet?
I think between John Baker and Dana, I thought they were very close to being done, or they were trying to get it to be finished up. Did you hear any more, Jim, from those?
No, I mean, the last time I talked to John on this subject was probably about 10 days ago, and I don't think he felt that they were complete. Although at least a month ago, I was able to get power to the mount and in there by flipping. There's a small breaker on the wall, and I had to flip that on before I turned the switch on. So I was able to get electricity then, but they may have progressing along disabled that. I don't know. So John didn't feel they were done yet.
We didn't try the breakers.
Okay, so that may
Oh, you're in
helped
there.
you. I would say at the Eastern Iowa Star Party, John is, I think, planning to attend. So, and frequently Dana shows up at those. So I might grab them and ask that same question, and you could actually get a demo on it.
Yeah, they're both registered.
It's gotta be really close to being done, because putting the underground cable in was probably the biggest chore, and I think they got the wire inside the Menke roll off at the panel, or maybe even hooked up, and it's just a matter of hooking up just a couple more wires inside the dome building. I think they're really close.
Speaking of Dana, I've had this really old photograph he took of the North American Nebula sitting in my office for the longest time. I finally got a hold of him with it, and he said he's willing to let the club have it, and I'm thinking we should frame it and hang it up in the observatory. It's an 8x10 photograph, so frame should be
We've got.
no problem. Yeah,
We gotta have them framed as well.
perfect. Anything else?
Then the old little telescopes out there. That Adrian, a new club member, said that she had messed around with one of them. So if someone knows enough about those little big telescopes, I don't know much about the mouse. There's one that looks like it's fixable or close to fixable. That'd be a good one to get over to her. I don't mind taking it, but I'm not good enough to know if something's missing parts that aren't gonna, it's gonna be worth fixing. So there's what, 5 telescopes out there? 4 telescopes?
At least 5.
So
Including the 2 that I moved over to that section.
we'd like to donate those to public folks that show up that have an aptitude, a desire to have a telescope, but maybe not the money.
One of the 2 scopes we moved is pretty heavy, so I wouldn't donate that to youngsters.
Maybe that would go to a school or something. That'd be a lot. That would be- yeah, for public.
We have any sort of timeline for when the, okay, well, of course, we have to wait for the materials to arrive, so I say, is there any timeline for actually building the structure? Because you said there was, that this, construction company, they might have a house project coming up soon, right?
Yeah, I talked to him last week, and he thought, though, I told him, we're thinking about the delivery around the 26th. That's what Menards talked about. And I asked him the other day when I was back out at Menards, do you think it would be any earlier? Like, you set it out there far enough that if it takes that long, a contractor isn't upset with you because you said it'd be here by then. And they said, nah, it could be, but normally what they put the date at is pretty accurate. And so I'm just waiting for a phone call a day or 2 before that. And a couple of us are going to have to be out there, because I'm just hoping that they can get the semi flatbed in there and we can get that off, and they can make the turn right there into the place. We also got to watch the rain, the weather, and I don't know if we can delay it a whole lot or not. And if it's really soft, they might have to drop it off at the east parking lot, or they might even drop it off at the shoulder. And then we're going to have to get a few members over there to carry some of that over to the site, which isn't too far away. But this weather thing could be an issue. And so let's hope we don't get a bunch of rain, which we're supposed to Wednesday, and I think again Thursday or Friday. So I don't want them to tear up the damn yard out there altogether. So we're gonna have to see what the best route is to go and use our own judgment. But Hopefully we don't have to carry that over to the building site, the trusses and the LVLs. The stick package, we need that first because they're gonna build the walls first, of course, to, do the roof later, I mean, after the walls are up. So, but I want to try to order the lumber package from Menards. They'll pick that. They said, let them know a day or two ahead of time. So I'd like to see if I could get them both out there because Jake, the framing contractor, said at least here a few days ago, and I keep updating him that he's ready to go. And I don't think it'll take him much I'd be surprised if it takes him more than 3 to 5 days to do it. He seems pretty ambitious. Jim and I have met with him. We're happy with him. And let's just hope the weather and the delivery and the timing all works out. I'm trying to time it out right so everything shows up about the same time. And then as soon as I get that done, get a hold of Mark Richter, see if we can get it shingled right away too. And then all we gotta do is worry about the siding, and we also gotta think about the insulation strip that gets attached, which we can roll the roof over onto the support piers. And we have to allow some kind of insulating rub effect on the siding. So when the dome closes, it has kind of a seal on it. That's another issue we got to kind of address too. On some of those buildings, like the Menke roll off, there's like this broom type material that rubs on the siding to seal the building. And we got to make clearance for that when we build the soffit, and got a siding we can allow for, but something's got to brush that and make a seal of some sort. You just don't want an inch gap there or so. So as you can see, there's a lot of thought going into this. Today I made the tabs to be welded on to the 20-foot additional 2-inch angle iron that we needed, and we salvaged the rest of it. Jim and the guys did a year ago, or about a year ago now, took it off the Sherman Park building, but we still needed 20 foot on each side. So I picked that all up today at OK Welding and got that home. And I cut the tabs, and now I got to drill the holes tomorrow and then get them welded on to the angle iron like the other ones were that are laying out there by the Menke classroom on the east side. So as you can see, I've given this quite a bit of thought and trying to coordinate everything. Jim's been good getting the wheels here. We got all the wheels, and it's all got to come together, because if you leave something out in the early part of the planning, then it's going to hold it up. So I'm trying to make sure that everything we need is around there. And like I said, I got to get a siding guy, and we got to figure out how we're going to insulate that siding from the roll off to the siding when we roll the building back closed, like it is on the Menke roll off. Anything else to add, Jim?
No, I think you've done a good job covering it.
So, and then once we get the building framed, and it's, manually, whether we get a couple, 4 2x4s with a V notch in them and 4 guys to push the roof off or whatever, and it's actually manually work. And then we got to figure out the cabling and the winch that we're going to set up and get that to work. But in the meantime, we'll just have to clamp it down tight so that it doesn't get away from the building while it's sitting there. But eventually we gotta also figure out how to automate the motor drive to move the roof back and forth, because it's gonna be quite heavy, and you're not gonna wanna have guys there all the time to push it off and, lock it up. And then we gotta figure a way to lock it down too a little bit.
Yeah, we did move the large, tie down bolts that were used on each of the four corners of the Sherman Park Observatory in case those could find a use in tying down our new observatory. And then, as you say, Mike, we still don't know how we're gonna motorize the movement of the roof. Scott Horstman shows on his observatory or his website that he sells the mechanism that he uses to move observatories that he builds. And in one of numerous emails that we've sent him, we asked him if we could buy that from him, but he hasn't responded. So I don't know if those are available, if we could buy them from him. It's kind of a already known quantity, something that he uses. If we can't buy his, then we're gonna have to create our own. And maybe there's somebody in the club that would like to take on that part of the moving of the roof portion, what the design and equipment we have to purchase is gonna be.
Either working off of a winch motor or a garage door opener or a garage door opener at each end, something we're gonna have to figure that part out. If we can get the roof on and it's functionally working, we can anchor it down until, we come up with, we'll see what we have to work with at that time to start figuring out the motor drive.
Yep, we did try a few different things on the Sherman Park Observatory. I don't think we ever came up with what we thought was a good system. Most resorted back to two people grabbing a hold of a rope and pulling the thing on and off.
I think that'd be a great thing for St. Ambrose engineering class to design for us.
Oh, jeez.
That's an idea.
Especially after the roof is up, there's gotta be a way to measure how much power it's gonna take to move that, especially if you can go up there and roll it back and forth, a way to measure that. Make a design, what kind of motor it would take.
And what they need to know how heavy that roof is.
Well, like I said, the roof's gonna be on. And it's not how heavy it is, it's what it takes to move it this way. So if they, what is that, foot pounds? Or what, I don't know what measurement is used. But it's not like lifting a 5,000-pound roof, it's like pulling one that's on rollers, which,
Send me an email reminder and I'll bring it up. This department's kind of busy right now trying to go do the credit.
well, they've got nothing to teach them until they have that happen.
Okay, they got things to teach them, the accreditation, so that we can keep teaching things. All right, anything else? Any other agenda items you want to bring up in the next 8 minutes? Well, all I've got is that our next board meeting is October 5th, and our next regular meeting is October 17th. And we have a presentation.
Eastern Iowa Star Party. Byron, do you feel like being the weather man on that for me to check in with you? To get your input, because I want to update people like, a couple times before then.
Oh, I don't know, just keep looking at the apps, that's all I do. Yeah, it's a gamble.
It is, but
Friday looks like it's shot. Saturday we thought was looking better, but now it's showing cloud cover again, starting about 7. I'm not sure about Sunday yet. But tomorrow night's gonna be great. Yep. Come on, come on.
Those who don't have to work on Wednesday.
Hey,
The Byron start party.
that's right.
well, you know what I can do? I could blast out an email to QCAS and PAC members to say about EISP being kind of shady, but they want to come out tomorrow night. I don't want non-club members to be out there. PAC is fine, QCAS is fine. I don't want, we've got half a dozen people here that don't belong to clubs. And I don't want to be responsible for other people outside of an event, so.
Well, yeah, I wasn't suggesting you, but.
No, I know you weren't. I'm just saying, I don't want to also clog up your idea of what you plan for tomorrow night.
And tomorrow night's just a viewing night. I mean, it's our good weather night for the week, I think. Hopefully that changes. But like you say, right now, Wednesday starts picking up on the clouds through Friday. Saturday was going to be clear. But Rusty and I just both looked at it and it's turning around again.
7 o'clock, about 50% cloud cover, by 9 o'clock.
But it could change.
Yeah, rain date, September 2023.
I don't like written dates. I can't block a whole bunch of dates. with the stuff. You know, we got nights, we do it. There's like a bunch of going on.
Yeah, that's the rain date.
It's a crapshoot.
I think we're gonna have decided that the club's public events and Ambrose's public events are each other's events.
So we've got them, they're scheduled.
All right, is there anything else?
No.
I'm gonna pass on Bill agenda tonight. I got a pretty busy day tomorrow. Anyone else?
I'll go out fine.
Me too.
Congratulations, you got the meeting over in less than 2 hours.
Yeah, mark that on the calendar.
I hate overtime.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, motion to adjourn.
From a
2 seconds.
Second.
All's in favor, say aye. All
Aye.
opposed, who cares?
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Have a good night, guys. Have a good night, everyone.
All right. You gonna go to the, yeah. All right, I'm gonna go have a few spot. Sounds good. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we gotta stand up now. Yeah, where you going?
Yeah.
All right. We'll meet you there.
Oh, look at that. Can we do a quick question?
Later, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right.